Hello, everyone. So, welcome back. We've got the family-friendly Fort Lauderdale podcast, doing our featured stories. And listen, it's almost the holiday season. We've got Diwali celebration this week. We've had Light Up Lauderdale, Light Up the Beach last week. Um, Winterfest, Family Fun Day. Everywhere you look, there's something fun going on. We're sharing those in our weekly newsletter. Today, this is kind of a special episode because it's pre-recorded. I've been meaning to get this out for a little while. We talked with Myra Weaver, who is the chief executive officer for the Florida Youth Orchestra. So it's not just one orchestra. They've actually got 8 different groups going for different age groups, different, from beginning players just getting started, tape on their violins to figure out where to place their fingers, to high school level, college level performers who are amazing, like just doing amazing work. So this is a pre-recorded video. I'll warn you up front. One issue that we ran into is shoddy camera work on my end. I actually cut the top of my head off. I don't think you guys will mind so much, because the most important part of the interview is you get to hear from Myra about the history of how the Florida Youth Orchestra got started. That's the most important thing. But, I'll have to work. In this case, I just took a tripod and a camera with me, and we got a great interview. And then when I looked at it afterwards, I'm like, oh, where's the top of my head? Well, that happens sometimes. But without further ado, let's get into this. I want you to hear what Myra has to say. And if you have a child that's interested in not just music, but really growing in all the fun activities, because they do a lot of great programming. Our own daughter is involved, and we just love what they're doing out there. So I thought you'd want to know more as well. Tonight, I'm actually here with Myra Weaver of the Florida Youth Orchestra. And we're in a classroom. We stole into one of the quiet classrooms here at the University School at NSU, because Myra and her team, a whole bunch of volunteers and folks, and many young people as well, 8 different orchestras that are going around us in different rooms.
Yes.
And I thought it would be fun. So I'm here because our daughter, this is her second year doing FYO, and she's having a wonderful experience. She just progressed up a level, and we come every week. And mostly I wanted to share this story with you guys, because if you have a child who's interested in music, maybe would like to, has dreamed about playing violin. My daughter plays cello. This is a great opportunity and a wonderful organization for them to get involved with, participate in the weekly lessons, do the concerts. Myra, how did this get started?
Well, I started it for my own kids. I wanted them to do music. I wanted to have them find a peer group in something that they enjoyed doing. They were very young, but I knew they would move into it, have an experience that would allow them to be in a social setting, and at the same time be doing something productive and rewarding. Music study ends up being really rewarding in so many ways. So it was them, and when they got good enough, they started playing in a school band. But they had experience with the Florida Philharmonic, which was in place at that time. It's gone now, where there was a side-by-side concert with the professionals. And of course, that was orchestral music, and they loved it. And they wanted to hear me play orchestra music in the car, which was pretty surprising to me. I like classical music, but little kids sometimes are not used to that sound. So it got to where I thought, gee, why isn't there a youth orchestra for young people, only bands? So I started thinking about how we might start something. And I had, of course, help with my husband and a lot of people don't know that he was Bob Weaver from NBC6, Weaver the Weatherman.
I did not know this.
And so we started gathering kids, gathering staff, doing all the legal work to have a nonprofit in place. And when we started the first rehearsal, there were about 48 kids, which was more than I even expected. And we went forward from there, more kids. additional groups, bigger staff, and it took on a life of its own. And this is now 36 years.
36 years, 8 different orchestra groups, everything from the youngest learners with tape on their violins, learning the finger positioning, to I was just outside walking by the one of the older groups and was just blown away with the sound that is coming through those open doors.
Right.
Can you share a little bit about, you have a lot of folks that are involved that help make this happen, staff, volunteers. Can you talk a little bit about what's powering the organization?
Well, there actually is a need for this. This is the only youth orchestra. We are the only regional children's arts organization in South Florida. We have kids from West Palm Beach and Boynton Beach south to Key Biscayne and Miami. And, the demand is there, the interest is there. I can't say the money is always there. As a nonprofit, it's chasing the dollar is just a way of life. But we're fortunate to have space here. We have a wonderful board of directors, an amazing staff, which works like a family. We're all very close. We have staff members that have been with us for 32 years, 25 years. And I think that's the impetus, the enthusiasm, the camaraderie, the genuine belief in what we're doing. That just drives it to do more, to do better, to find more kids. We're always looking for more kids. We want them to have this experience because music study changes them in many positive ways.
And not just during, of course, we're recording this during the school year, but this is a year-round activity. So my daughter participated in the summer camp last summer and had a lot of fun. And just as you described the impetus for you with your own children, it was social. She was excited to be with friends that were also working hard, during the practice periods, but getting outside and being able to play and the whole experience. That it seems like the organization, you mentioned the dollars, having folks that support the nonprofit. The volunteers, I see so many folks that are helping, parents setting up snack tables. So when the children come out and have a little break. Can you talk a little bit about how many folks are involved? It seems like everywhere I look, there are different faces and people pitching in.
Well, if you want good people around you, grab a parent. Nobody is more interested in something than when it affects their child positively. And they welcome the chance to be part of it, to be where their children are at rehearsal. They love coming to concerts. So there's a reward for them. And kids kind of like it when their parents are part of what they're doing. So it makes them feel like this must be important. Mom's doing something here.
Yeah, I think that's very true, and vice versa. It gives the parents can feel good about the way they're able to pitch in and as well. Myra, I think the last question I wanted to ask was just we have over 1,300 subscribers between the newsletter and the podcast that we do. Somewhere out there's a family that's teetering on the edge, and they're like, oh, maybe this could be right for my son, my daughter. What would you share with them? What do the next steps look like? What should they be thinking about? And how do they have that conversation with their child about what it is? Because sometimes if we don't know what we don't know, it's hard to figure out whether this is their path.
Well, I didn't ask my kids. I said, guess what you have Wednesday? And you have a music lesson. And, they don't really challenge that. They find it intriguing and interesting. And the idea of, oh, I'm going to be a musician. And once they've had their first lesson or their first rehearsal, they start to feel a sense of pride and accomplishment. Kids that feel good about themselves don't get in trouble. And so, when they play a concert, we have concerts, obviously for the more advanced groups in professional theater settings. And we get 700-800 people in the theater. And when they hear that applause, what does that do to a child? How does a 10-year-old feel about hearing people clap for them? This is just so rewarding. And don't forget, music study rewires the brain. They're much higher academically. And also, kids who study music have the lowest current and lifetime use of alcohol, tobacco, and illicit drugs, as well as scoring much higher on the SATs, 60 points higher on the math portion, 40 points higher on the verbal portion. So it just changes them. And they're nice kids. They're all just nice kids. They're nice to each other. Their goal is to become better at something. And I think that's just a wonderful goal for a young person.
Yeah, to be able to work towards.
Yes.
And for the parents out there, if someone is, maybe thinking, well, I don't have a musical bone in my body, the only instrument I can play is the radio.
That's me.
Okay.
I don't play. I never had that opportunity.
Okay.
Cause, I didn't come from a family where that was sort of part of the consciousness. So nobody ever said, you're taking a music lesson Wednesday. But didn't matter. I knew that I wanted this for other people, and my kids are certainly gone from the current situation here because they're older. But I love the idea of being able to reach kids who are not having an opportunity. There are no orchestras in the schools. They have band. They have bands that play at football games. They have jazz bands. But what if your child plays a violin or a cello or a viola? They're not going to be able to use it. They might learn it. They might take lessons. But then they'll play for grandma in the living room and have no public venue to show their skills. We provide that.
Well, it's a wonderful story. I did not realize that you didn't play yourself. I think I probably just assumed that was part of your background and you wanted to share it with your own children. But I give you all the credit in the world because you've kept this wonderful organization going as as you said, founder, president, and everything else.
Board chair.
Board chair, yeah. Well, it takes a lot of hands, a lot of hearts to make it happen. And Myra, thank you so much for taking a little bit of time to share your story. And again, hopefully some of you will come out and see one of the concerts and maybe ask your child if they might like to get involved themselves.
Well, thank you for your interest. Anyone who wants to know more can find us at floridayouthorchestra.org.
Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Strong.